authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
What's up? What's up? This is another episode of Bitches Love Sports. I'm your host, Jazz Monet. How's it going, Cowboys fans, Wings fans, Dallas sports fans, football fans in general? I'm being told I cannot be heard. Hold on, let's see. Can you hear me now? Are we good? Are we good, Tiff? I swear every week it's something. Give me a second. How about now? No? Yes? Okay, if you're in the chat and you can hear me say something. I'm seeing the lines go up on the soundboard. Not very much, though. Hello? Hello? I can hear myself in the headphones. Yeah, they're saying they can hear me in the chat. It might be something on your end, Tiff. And I turned myself down a little bit so that I don't peek. All right. Sorry about that. Thank you so much, Hoodie, for letting me know that you can hear me. All right. So, yeah, I am waiting on a very special guest. We're going to have a good conversation today about all things Cowboys. As you can tell from the thumbnail, yes, there are some crazy things to talk about in terms of what Jerry Jones has to say about the team, and that made waves on Twitter this morning. But we've also got some X's and O's to talk about because actual football just happened. There's more than sound bites and Netflix premieres going on with the Dallas Cowboys. Actual football happened. People have different opinions on who should be where on the depth chart, and we're going to talk about what the coaches had to say about it. You can come in. My guest just showed up. He's been here before. Keller's in the building. Kel, I feel like with this being your second time on the show, you need an on-air persona.
On-air persona? What you talking about?
What am I supposed to call you?
Shoot. What
you gonna be Keller for now?
It's gonna be Keller for now. I ain't give it too much thought yet.
Oh, don't wear the headphones right now.
Okay.
Because apparently they're causing some static issues.
It's
But
cool.
actually put them on because we're about to play a video clip. Real quick before we hop into this clip from Jerry Jones, this is definitely going to be a Cowboys hour, but I want to give a quick shout out to Shedeur Sanders because I did talk about this on my live. Flash your watches if you got them. I did talk about this on my live, but he is having quite the experience over in Cleveland. Didn't get a lot of reps headed into that preseason game they had. Showed up and showed out anyway. I mean, was it perfect? No. But did he show a lot of improvement somehow since college? Yes. I mean, to say that he was able to show that much improvement and he was not getting a lot of reps, was not getting any reps with the ones, right? And still managed to improve things like throwing off-platform throws, not drifting so much in the pocket so that his, basically helping his O-line help him. His O-line still left him hanging out to dry sometimes. But just the mobility, the accuracy, the tight window throws, super proud of him. And then turn around, we get to this week, and apparently they are still not starting him with the ones. But supposedly he's getting more reps at practice than he was before. But yeah, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle for Shedeur Sanders. But if you want to have a seat, I'm about to play this clip from Jerry Jones.
Oh, well, sure.
And we're going to get into talking about Cowboys news because we're basically getting this out the way because while it is relevant, it's not. It's one of those things that I shared on Twitter. And on Twitter these days, I never know what's going to pop off and what's not. I have tweets that, nobody reacts to. Hardly anybody sees. And then every now and then, I'll just post something to be funny, and it blows up. This was something I posted to be funny. I should have known it would blow up. It's Jerry Jones, and it's him talking about the Cowboys being somewhat of a soap opera. Now... Well, actually, I'm going to reserve my opinion on it until after we hear the clip because I want to hear your thoughts on it. Because are you even a Cowboys fan?
I'm definitely a Cowboys hater.
You are a Cowboys fan. Okay.
A hater.
Oh, Cowboys hater. Okay, so we got a fan, we got a hater. We're going to talk about this clip. Let me grab my headphones.
I mean, but some people, the thing about, haters is you just a fan, but you're a fan in a different fashion because you're still consuming the media. So that's we'll talk about it, deeper after the clip plays.
That's what you just described is what I call a Cowboys enthusiast. There are a lot of people who will pay attention to the Cowboys and consume all their content. They'll watch the interviews, they'll watch the press conferences, they'll even watch the games sometimes, but they'll be like, I can't stand the Cowboys. But no, everything that the coach has said at the press conference, those are Cowboys enthusiasts. So they'll consume the content, but they claim they don't like them. But let's get into this clip.
Two things can be true.
You're really trying to debate today.
Two things can be true, Jazz. Just because I feel like being educated about the Cowboys and their operation just like fuels like how just meddlesome Gerald Wade Jones is.
I feel like what you're saying right now actually plays into what he's talking about in this
That's
video.
what I'm saying.
I like the fact that you said two things can be true, because I feel like that applies to what's happening in this video as well. So let's go ahead and pull this up. This is a clip that I saw kind of floating around. Just for context, the Netflix docuseries, A Gambler and His Cowboys, is coming out. It'll come out to the public next week. But yesterday, there was a premiere event for Jerry Jones and some of the people who are in the docuseries. So some of the original Cowboys players, some of the 90s Cowboys players, like Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin were there. And they did some interviews. They did some blue carpet things. So this is a clip from that event.
I do believe if we're not being looked at, then I'll do my part to get us looked at. The Cowboys are a soap opera 365
The
days.
stream will begin
When it gets slow,
momentarily.
I'll stir it up.
Please take your
And
seats.
so it's wonderful to have the great athletes, have the great players, but there's something more there. There's sizzle, there's emotion, and if you will, there's controversy. That controversy is good stuff in terms of keeping and having people's attention.
All right. So now you can go ahead and take them off so we don't have a lot of static.
Word. Man,
I want to share your thoughts first?
Yeah. Let me take off, man. Jerry, like, this dude is such a genius, man. As much as people like try to dog on him with the football sense, he's like such a genius, man. Like, just from a pure business and marketing standpoint, you don't become the most profitable sports business in the entire world without just being. He's just like a good salesman. He can sell you he can sell water to a well, I'm telling you. Because he understands how to make money. He understands that there's no such thing as bad press. Mm-hmm. So whether and people have talked about this before, but like, no matter what you say or how you feel towards the Cowboys, you're going to consume Cowboys content, which at the end of the day puts money in my pocket. But the thing I push back on him on is he said, and I quote, there is not an amount that he says, he doesn't matter what the amount is, that of the check he has to write for another Super Bowl, which is crazy because the way he's acting as if he's just trying to like make the Cowboys more profitable. So like, it's just this inconsistency. When he says he's all in last year, was he really all in? Like, you just can't tell with the guy. He wants to have it both ways. And the reason also back, man, you know why those teams were so successful in the 90s?
Why?
There was no salary cap. He could pay Emmett,
Agreed.
he could pay Troy, he could pay Larry Allen. Like, no way. There's no team probably ever since the salary cap got introduced that's going to have that many amount of Hall of Famers on it ever again.
No, agreed. The introduction of the salary cap and the evolution of free agency definitely impacted how the Cowboys were able to make their roster. But going back to this clip real quick, and go ahead and move to your right while I make my point. Going back to this clip real quick, here's my thing about it. I posted it, and it got a lot of vitriol from Cowboys fans. Cowboys fans are up and down my notifications pissed. Like, just quote tweeting this post, and somebody... Well, I'm not going to say it because I don't like repeating overly negative things, but like, that chair's making so much noise. But someone said that basically there have been threats made on Jerry Jones. I'm going to put it that way. And my thing is, when I posted it, I'm like, I don't even necessarily have a problem with it for real. Because my thing is, that is part of the team. There's a reason why people say organizations win championships. So if you are looking for a team to root for that you expect to win a Super Bowl and you don't feel like this is going to get you there, then don't root for the Cowboys. But when I first fell in love with the Cowboys, I fell in love with all of it. So, like, yes, I liked the players. I liked watching them play. But I was also fascinated by the story of Jerry Jones. I was fascinated by what he was able to do with the Dallas Cowboys. I was fascinated by everything he brought to the NFL from a business and marketing standpoint, because what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of the things that he did for the Dallas Cowboys, they were adopted in some shape, form, or fashion by the NFL. So a big part of the reason that the NFL is as big as it is is because of what Jerry Jones brought to the table in terms of how he decides to do marketing. Now, they haven't adopted everything, obviously, but he's done so much for the sport. And so to me, that was just like really cool to see this dude from Arkansas just basically place a bet, on whether or not this team would end up being a success. Purchase of the team would end up being a good thing. And for that to develop into what it's become. And also, he's not wrong because, while fans are like, there's some people who are saying things like, well, if you want attention, win championships. That win championships are not getting, or at least recently, right? Those teams are not getting as much attention as the Cowboys are getting. So, like, the Chiefs have a documentary coming out. Is anybody talking about it?
No, because they just lost. They got curb stomped. They didn't just lose. I promise you, if the Chiefs three-peated, I promise you know what I mean.
I don't know, because 2 is still kind of solid.
It's hard, but Pat was you could actually argue if Pat was the GOAT if he got that third one in a row.
But the Chiefs won 2 Super Bowls, and then they lost bad. But that was recent compared to when the Cowboys were winning Super Bowls. So if it's championships that matter, then why is it that the most recent winners of the Super Bowl, one of the quarterbacks who people say is the GOAT in the NFL, why is it that his documentary, ain't nobody talking about it? Ain't nobody posting clips from their red carpet or whatever it is that they're doing for their premiere? And not only that, it's one documentary. This is one part. But the Cowboys, who everybody criticizes for not winning in 30 years, get an 8-part docuseries on Netflix. They got an event. They got the blue carpet. They got clips going around everywhere, making the A block of all the popular shows. Fans are actually talking about it. So it's like, while they're trying to prove him wrong, they're actually proving him right.
They are proving him right, but I like to push back. Like, that's set in stone. The 8-part docuseries is not just one season; it's multiple seasons. This is basically what.
You don't think you could do multiple seasons on the Chiefs? You don't think they could do at least 2 or 3 parts, maybe 4?
But the documentary you're talking about is just last season by itself.
It is, but why is nobody making?
Also, it's on ESPN Plus compared to Netflix. Like, Netflix is the documentary
it's on
platform.
Disney Plus too.
And no. Netflix has been doing this. Netflix is always just going to gain more attraction than Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu. You can do whatever you want. It's Netflix, then it's everybody else. Netflix is just going to gain more attention, 1. 2, I mean, like you said, besides Pat and Kelsey, probably more so than Taylor Swift, like, who else do you care about on that team?
But that's kind of my point. They are recent champions. And people don't care as much about them as they do about Jerry Jones and Mike Lervin and Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman.
That's because the Cowboys just had so much more personality back in the day. And just so much, I promise you.
But look at the things that you're mentioning. Personality, star power, Hall of Famers. None of those things are championships. Here, let me put it this way. If you did something, right? If you bought a business and you went about it in an unorthodox way, and people are like, you shouldn't be running your business like that. But not only are they still patronizing your business, you're a billionaire. Could anybody tell you shit?
No, of course not. But
exactly.
I mean, they couldn't tell me how to run it. But I'm not just gonna act like all of what they're saying is just based off of pure jealousy or hatred. I mean, I feel like
I don't think he's assuming it's based off jealousy or hatred. I think he's looking at their actions. He's looking at, okay, y'all gonna tweet all day, making threats on me saying that, how can this clown run this organization? Y'all can say that all day, but at the end of the day, I'm still getting the most views. We're still making the most money.
But what does he prioritize though? He's saying one thing, but his actions show something different.
That's where we get to your point about how 2 things can be true. Because have you ever heard of the concept called a priority deck? So it's basically this concept, and a lot of CEOs use this concept, and it's basically saying, okay, we have multiple priorities. Now, is the Cowboys getting attention higher in the priority deck than a championship? Yes. But do I think winning a championship is in his priority deck?
Well, yes.
Do I think some of the things that he does may sabotage his opportunity to get a championship? Maybe, but that can happen anyway. Think about how Jerry Jones talks, which also I need to comment on that. Everything that he's been saying, and this is for Cowboys fans, everything that this man has been saying this preseason about what's a risk and what's not, all of that terminology is playing into the themes in this documentary that's coming out. And so these days, I can't tell who's overreacting for content and who is really mad at Jerry Jones, so I don't know. But if you're one of those people who actually is mad at Jerry Jones for what he's saying and what he's doing, just please understand that a lot of this is to connect what he's saying to the documentary that's coming out, because it's called A Gambler and His Cowboys. So he is using a lot of words like what's risky and what's a good bet and what's a bad bet and what could happen. It all plays together. It's all marketing. But anyway, going back to a priority deck, like, yes, I do think that a championship is somewhere in his priority deck. I do think that sometimes he can do things to sabotage the players. But my thing is, the only time I mind it is when it starts to impact the players. And I can tell it does sometimes. I can tell there are some players who grin and bear it, who they just look at it as a lesser of two evils because they do want to like be a Cowboy, and so like they're like, this is what comes with it. Because at the end of the day, every organization has their thing. You know, the Cowboys have Jerry, by his own words, who wants the Cowboys to be a soap opera. You got the Cleveland Browns, who got 6 quarterbacks and made one of the worst deals in NFL history for Deshaun Watson. You've got the Jacksonville Jaguars. Like, who knows what's going on there, and whether or not their quarterback will actually turn out to be a bust. You've got, like, there's all sorts of quarterback drama if we actually get into it. People talk about Dak a lot, but it's like there's a lot of quarterbacks that are really under par, especially compared to where they're drafted. Every organization has their thing that's just like, what is it about this ownership? What is it about this GM? Every organization has something you could roll your eyes at. So I think sometimes players are just like, all right, I want to be a Dallas Cowboy, and dealing with what Jerry might do in the public is something that comes with that.
But I have a question though. It's just the fact that he presents winning a championship as a priority and as his like top one priority, like on the top of the deck, but his actions show otherwise. So like as a Cowboys fan, like how does that make you feel? Do you feel like he's overselling his priority of winning a championship? Do you personally feel like that's his number one priority, winning a championship? And can you agree that he has presented that as his number one priority to the media and public? When he says words like all in.
When he says words like all in, I don't take him seriously. Or I shouldn't say I don't take him seriously. I don't think he means what fans and pundits try to say he means. I think what all in means to Jerry Jones means something different to us. Now, do I think that he wants to win a championship? Absolutely. Do I think he wants to win a championship because it would add to the soap opera? Yes.
But is that his main goal?
If he had to sacrifice the soap opera to get a championship, I don't think he'd do it. Damn. I don't. But I also think that what Jerry Jones is hoping will happen, I don't know if it's expectation, hope, but I think what he's hoping will happen is that the people he puts in place to win that championship, they'll do it. And so he can focus on the soap opera, he can focus on the attention, and he's like, I'm going to get a coach in here who won't take away from the soap opera, but who can hopefully find a way to get us that championship. I think that's a combination that he's looking for. So with that being said, though, let me ask you another question. If you were given a business, let's not make it a deal with the devil. Let's make it a deal with an angel. An angel comes down and says, I'm going to give you this business. Actually, no, we'll make it specific. I'm going to give you this NFL team, Keller. Oh, yeah. And you're going to have this team for 30 years. Now, for the first 5 to 6 years, y'all going to win championships. Y'all are going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. And then after that, it's going to be mediocrity, but you're going to make bank. Would you take it?
No, of course I would say. I mean, right now, he was already like, you just don't just like stumble upon the Cowboys. He was already wealthy. Like I'm saying, like right now, it's the average Joe. Of course I would take it. Who doesn't want to be a billionaire? But I'm not going to like sit up here in front of nobody. Like when you say all in, what do you mean? It could be two different things. Like your chips are pushed to the middle of the table. Like there's no second option. There's no like backup plan. You're going all in. You're paying it's a win now. You're paying everybody that you can. You're not trying.
What I mean when I say it can be two different things is that when he said all in, a lot of people applied that, especially because of the timing, directly to free agency. Right? So they expected him to, go and get the best pieces, pay whatever he needed to pay, negotiate contracts, however it needs to be done. I think what he meant was that he was all in the sense that he has a list of things he thinks he needs to do. And he's like, I'm committed to doing those things. And I think from his perspective, they go about free agency in a way that makes sense. So it's not the most extreme in terms of doing the most they could possibly do, but it makes sense in terms of the options that they have on the table and what they're willing to do. So all in will never mean to us what it means to Jerry Jones, because he has a certain threshold for what he's willing to do and for what he's going to do and what he feels like makes sense and it's reasonable. And we don't necessarily know the specifics of that. We don't know the details of that. So a lot of things he says, you have to hear it and understand that, like, okay, he's saying this based on his perspective. Like, a lot of these things he's not even saying for us. He's not looking to make us understand or get us to believe something. He's literally just answering the question based off whatever's at the top of his mind. And that's one of the things you have to understand with Jerry Jones and what he says in public and his quotes. He's not always trying to get a message to us. He's like, hey, you asked a question, I'm gonna answer it.
So not signing Derrick Henry makes sense
To him, yeah. They did not feel like they needed Derrick Henry specifically. And some people will argue against that, obviously, especially seeing how Derrick Henry performed and continues to perform.
especially against the Cowboys. Do you remember?
But
when
listen to how they talk about running backs. Listen to how they talk about players specifically, like especially Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones. They don't give a lot of star players their props. Stephen Jones has literally made comments, and I can't remember exact quotes at this time, but he's made comments suggesting that, like, 5 people at one position is better than being able to get one person at one position. Like, these are, apples in the produce section at Kroger or something, right? And so they look for traits, the ability to do certain things, and that's it. So if they get a running back who can, like, let's just throw a few things they've talked about out there. If they find a running back who can catch passes, catch some shallow passes, who can pass block, and who has good lateral movement, knows how to follow their blockers, they will look at all those running backs who are able to do those things damn near equally. They're not going to look at a Derrick Henry and be like, well, he can do those things, but he's Derrick Henry. They're going to be like, no, we need a running back who can do these 3 things, these 5 things. And we're going to pay for these 3 things, these 5 things. We don't care that you're, Derrick Henry. Like, I mean, even when it comes to their quarterback position, they kind of lucked up in getting Dak,
Yeah, 4th round draft pick.
And so just like, I feel like when it comes to the drafting, if you look at it, it almost looks like they put a lot of stock into like their first round, 2nd round. And then after that, it's like, all right, we're looking for someone who can do these things. And they have their board and however they construct that. But just, yeah, if you listen to them talk, I'm not surprised that they don't put a lot of stock into acquiring stars.
So I got a question though too. Back to the soap opera thing. I got you. Would you say that the Los Angeles Lakers in the early 2000s were their soap opera?
In a sense, I don't know as much about their story, but like, yeah, in a sense.
So, but the thing is, they continue to like win championships. So I would say even shoot, the Lakers now are a soap opera. Even when Kobe was like on his decline in lead years, it's just the fact that Jeannie and Jerry bust, like, it wasn't like them at the focal of attention. It was the play on the court though.
Yeah.
Except for like when Jeannie was trying to having that argument with her brother, and then she retained full control after her dad died. I say like that's when it became more about the ownership than the play on the court.
There are so many factors that go into winning a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly believe that part of the reason why Jerry Jones focuses more on getting attention and on marketing than the Super Bowl is because he can control more of that. You can control whether you get attention. You can control marketing. You can control what goes out into the media and what doesn't.
Right.
But there are certain aspects of what it would take to get to a Super Bowl that you can't control. You can draft all the best players. Some of them could get hurt. You could put together a good team. Somebody else could be out there that's better. You could, have a great game. Calls don't go your way. And I'm not saying this like that. These are beliefs of mine. I'm just saying like these are things that when I think about what Jerry Jones has said in the public and what may or may not make sense, I could see that being some of his reasoning. Like, yo, that is out of my control. I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to get us some good players. I'm going to get us a competent coach and a good staff and let them do their thing. At the end of the day, it's any given Sunday. I don't know how things are going to go, especially with, what he might consider this pesky salary cap. I got more money than anybody. I should have the best roster, but I can't because the NFL wants parity, right?
Right, as they should. So you feel like Mike McCarthy was a competent coach?
I feel like he was a good coach. He did a lot of things well, and I feel like there were a lot of, I won't say a lot, there were a few areas where he could have done things differently.
Like manage a clock?
Yes, like manage a clock, like training, like the way he approached players improving. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in the second segment because we are going to talk some X's and O's today. We're going to talk about some quotes from Shotty and from Coach Eberflus. And this is a really good segue to get into what the coaches are doing and what they could do differently or better, in my opinion. So y'all stick with us. It's going to be a couple of minutes to commercials. We'll be back.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
And we are back. Welcome back to Bitches Love Sports. We're in the second segment. If you want to hear me and Kel argue about Jerry Jones and the legitimacy of the Cowboys being a good team while also being a soap opera, rewind, go back to the first segment. But now we're going to talk about what we transitioned to in terms of the X's and O's and what makes a good coach for the Cowboys. So real quick to answer your question, because I do want to get into some of the things that Eberflus said, especially since we have a defensive expert here with us. But real quick, when it comes to the coaches that the Cowboys have hired in the past, and because I feel like this covers my thoughts on McCarthy, they haven't picked anyone who was like young and innovative, like that new young, innovative, up-and-coming coach.
Like McVay, like LaFleur.
Yeah, like one of those.
Like Mike Tomlin back in the day.
They don't pick those people. And I'll be honest, I don't understand their reasoning when it comes to who they pick. But I feel like Mike McCarthy kind of went along the lines of, somebody who would go along to get along, who would, make Jerry feel like he was right, who would go along with those decisions. And I don't know where Shotty is in terms of that, but I do believe that Shotty is like the closest that they've gotten to a young, innovative coach maybe ever. So.
Would you have been on board if they picked up Bill?
Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
No, only because from a personality perspective, I did not see that working.
Yeah,
and culture matters a lot. Not only in the locker room and with the players, but just like in the organization in general. I just saw that being like a nightmare. Also, I'm not convinced that Bill Belichick is like that great of a coach. But that's a different discussion for a different day.
Are we serious?
I'm dead serious. But that's a different discussion for a different day. I promise these people Cowboys talk, you're not about to get me on that tangent.
That's just blasphemy, dog.
It is not. I promise you it's not.
Bruh.
What did he do after Brady left?
What did he do before Brady? You act like he was like he didn't shut down Jim Kelly in the Super Bowl. Like, are we just going to talk about coach?
What did he do after Brady left?
Why is it after Brady? Like, why?
Because that's his most recent body of work.
After Brady, I mean, who else is Tom Brady?
I mean, if he's that great of a coach, he should have been able to do something.
Mac Jones, I feel like that was Matt Patricia. He shouldn't have hired Matt Patricia as an OC. Matt Patricia as a DC. He hired him and ruined Mac Jones. Mac Jones has never been the same after that. Got them boys to the wild card and won 10 games and then pooped it. With Cam. He was balling with Cam. And Cam was coming back. He was looking like a dog. And then just wasn't, dog. Well, Cam never fit the system, too. Cam was also coming in during COVID. I mean, like Brady, like shout out Brady. Everybody give him props. But people forget, though, that Brady wasn't like meshing that well in the regular season with his guys. They was losing some games. It's just he showed up when it mattered. So shout out Brady. I'm never going to hate on the man. But like saying that Bill Belichick isn't that good of a coach, like crazy work.
I'm not convinced. But we're going to put a pin on that.
We are going to put a pin on that.
We're definitely going to address this at some point. I don't know when I'm going to have you on. It might have to be virtual so that we can address this.
I'm cool with it, dog, because that's blasphemy.
Okay, we'll talk about it. All right, but today we're going to talk about Matt Eberflus and his defense. I know you said that you were going to try to look at some of the practices and some of the game. Did you get a chance to look at anything? What are your thoughts off of what you've seen?
My thoughts are, like, with the tackling, I feel like, man, tackling, I feel like, is a combination of wanting to and then just a combination of, like, live practice reps. I know that Scotty, they have been more physical than in the past. I've seen things like how he told the team, like, we're going to take our pads off for practice. And the team was like, nah, man, we take pride in this physicality stuff. So tackling is just, like, reps after reps after reps. Because there's no telling what as a defensive player myself, I don't make a lot of open space tackles, but I do a lot of open space tackle drills. And I see, like, the greats, like, people I play with. And it's just about just some people have different ways of tackling, either reacting or they're being the hammer instead of the nail. So when you got grown men in the NFL who are paid to make you miss, it's a lot harder. So you just got to see all the different ways because there's a lot of different types of tackling. There's head-on tackling. There's, like, tackling at an angle. There's tackling with the sideline. Do you have a defender? There's vice tackling when it's you and one other person. So it's just all these different reps and, like, things you just have to see during practice. So I feel like they could do that more. And then also, too, it's just, like, tackling is also, like, you can gain on it, but it's either something you just have or you don't. Are you able to just slow it down and see? Or are you something who's just going to bite on when you see that first move? So it's like a little combination of both.
So do you feel like all those issues are what the Cowboys are dealing
with? The Cowboys are I was just talking, like, tackling in general. But if we're going to talk about the Cowboys themselves, I feel like they're getting the reps. I just feel like sometimes, like I said, it's just like the personnel. And it's the preseason. Like, these aren't the people you're going to see on Sundays. So
True.
Like, I wouldn't say now, if this is a problem occurring in the regular season, oh, yeah, we got a problem. But, like, for preseason, I wouldn't get too up in arms about it, man.
Okay, I think that's fair. And that is something that the coaches have been reiterating in their press conferences. It's like, hey, it's preseason. These are players that we're evaluating. Don't get too bent out of shape over it. So I do think that's fair. But I do think also we do want to see the guys down the depth chart show that they have the capability to execute the skills they need to execute. You know, and if they're all learning the same thing, we just feel like it should be better. You know, maybe the guys who are on the field during preseason won't be the fastest. Maybe they won't be the hardest hitters, unless your name is Maris Lufau. Jesus.
Hey, that boy a dog.
100%. But I think what people are looking for is just a little bit more intensity and aggressiveness. So here's something that Eberflus said, and I think it kind of connects to something that you said. So he said, we're just tackling too high. So some of you saw some of those what we call hidden yards where the runner's going forward, creating a favorable down and distance for the offense, and we have to do a better job of knocking that back. It's just really technique and having 7+ to the ball. So it's two things. One, I think he emphasized having 7+ to the ball because when it comes to like open space situations, the more you can contain, obviously, and like you need more people to contain, like you don't want to try to put somebody in a cage that has like bars this far apart, right? And so I think there's legitimacy to bringing that up. But I also think what you said about these are guys who are paid to make you miss. They're not only paid to make you miss. Now these guys are paid to break the tackles, So these guys are literally counting on you to not wrap up properly, to not be low enough, to not come with enough force. And so I think there's like a lot of tackling drills, and I haven't seen anything from the Cowboys training camp. So, I'm not necessarily saying that this is a judgment on them, but a lot of tackling drills, you're hitting something that's stationary. Mm-hmm. And so I think when it comes to catching something and bringing something to the ground that is moving, trying to make you miss, and then if you do get it, it's trying to come at you with enough force to where you can't hold on to it. It's a completely different situation. And I think those are things that you're not necessarily going to grasp until you actually have some live in-game reps to get a hang of that. And so while it was disappointing to watch, I'm also kind of like, okay, I get why Eberflus is saying like, hey, it's the preseason, chill out, we're still evaluating guys. Now, one guy who is being evaluated is, there's a few that we can talk about.
Hey, that center, that 5'11" boy, pancaking those dudes. That boy nice. That joker, he quick, he fast, he like keeps a good base. I saw him like one play, he like worked up to the linebacker second level. He keeps it like, that's a good thing, man. Because a lot of linebackers, they try to lay these fat dudes out the way. But when you keep a good base, when you're solid, because he has to come through you to make the tackle. You want to keep that relationship between yourself and the ball carrier. So if you don't rush it, you just stay on your line, stay on your track. Man, he got some great technique, dog. That dude.
Which one of our centers is 5'11"?
The 5'11". Dude, pancake. It's like everywhere. It's like all over.
Because I know somebody in the chat told me which one is 5'11", so I know who he's talking about. He just switched the offense on me.
Well, you said evaluating folks. Is that not folks getting evaluated?
No, it's fine. I just don't know which one is 5'11". They're all tall to me.
It's like everywhere.
H.G. Wells said, chess is football. Chess is football, and football is chess. I agree 100%. Mills said, we need to be more physical in the preseason game. What's your reasoning for that, Mills? I want to hear your thoughts. on your thoughts on that. Because there are some people who are cool with it, and I do...
Oh, damn. It was the Rams. He was pancaking y'all dudes. I ain't going to lie. I knew it was against the Cowboys.
Okay, thank you. Because I was like, well, Hoodie is saying Brock Hoffman is 5'11".
Nah, it was definitely the Rams dude, the Willie Lampkin.
Okay.
Yeah, he was putting... Golly, I ain't going to lie.
Brock Hoffman is 6'4", Hoodie. Anyway, he had the wrong team.
And it was against the Cowboys,
though.
We
were all confused.
Wait. It was against the Cowboys. He working. And it's just so funny to see because, man, you can't make any tackles if you can't get off blocks.
Well, on that note, Mazi Smith. So Mazi Smith is one of the guys who is being evaluated. And he's one of the guys that Eberflus talked about in his press conference on Monday. So this is what he said about Mazi. He said, it's important that they play the style that we covet, and that's get off on the football and penetrate, play on the other side of the line of scrimmage, and then being able to shed blocks and make a play. And then he was asked specifically about Mazi being part of an attack front and saying that, like, hey, this isn't something that Mazi has typically done. How do you feel about his ability to do that? And Eberflus said, I think his skill set can do either, and I really think that he will be a good attack front guy. Now, Mazi didn't have a ton of snaps on Saturday, but did you see anything that makes you agree or disagree with Coach Eberflus?
Man, I feel like Mazi just needs to get better. Like, because I'm already telling you right now, like, pass rushing, like from what I seen, it's not his biggest thing. I seen like videos of him in training camp. He's getting like stonewalled. So I would say like they originally brought him in from Michigan to like stop the run, because we were finally saying like, well, you guys were finally saying like, wow, because we finally got someone to stop the run. Because you pay Micah and at the time DeMarcus Lawrence and at the time like what was it? Smith? It was Smith, right? At the time when he was drafted, the linebacker. Yeah. You pay all those guys at the time to pin your ears back and rush the passer. But Mazi up in the middle out there trying to stop the run. And that's what the Cowboys have had an issue with these past couple of years, just stopping the run. So if I would say like he just needs to do a better job of just staying stout in there and it's not getting turned. He needs to do a good job of just keeping square, man. As soon as you get your shoulders, hips turned, it's over. So as long as you just stay square, you have a chance to come back and shed, even if it's like a little late. But once you start turning and feel yourself, it's like you might as well just line up for the next play, man.
And that was the issue that I had because, yes, he did get a couple of pressures. One of them I felt like he was kind of lucky on because on one of them he was using the rip technique, but it wasn't even a good rip technique in my opinion. He didn't start low enough. And it just so happened that he was already to the side of the person that he was trying to go up against. So he was able to get a little pressure on the quarterback. But outside of that, yes, he was turning a lot. So I'm just like, okay, pressures are great. But if I can't trust you to, stop the run, to attack the gaps, because if Eberflus is talking about an attack front, then that does mean penetration. That does mean aggressive attacking of the gaps. That does mean that even whenever it's a slant, you need to be focused on firing through the gap and not going so flat, not so horizontal. And so he's just not somebody who I trust to do his job in that sense right now. But what I will say, in terms of public criticism of Mazi Smith, here's the thing that I think is happening when it comes to people's opinions. It's that it's preseason. So when you listen to the coaches, they're saying things like, we still have 2 more preseason games, we have more practices, we're still evaluating players, right? And according to Eberflus, that includes Mazi. I think from fans' perspective, they're looking at somebody like Perion, right? And they're like, this guy is flashing. We like what this guy is doing. We like what we see. But also in the minds of fans, they're imagining an upward trajectory because the first thing that they see is good, and they keep seeing more and more good things. They're expecting those things to stack, right? Whereas with Mazi, it's like people have already been disappointed from several seasons. So all they see is one preseason game, and they're just like, don't like what we're seeing. It's more of the same. And they're convinced that the trajectory is down here. So I think Mazi is not as bad as a lot of fans feel like he is, especially the ones who are like, trade him, get rid of him. First of all, $13 million guaranteed. I don't think he's going anywhere right now. But I don't think he's as bad as fans feel like he is. Because a lot of it is feelings. And I also think that it's possible that Perion doesn't turn out to be as good as fans are expecting. Because I think they're just expecting, like, oh, it's preseason. You're just going to level up to the regular season. Then it'll be amazing. It's like, nah, it could just literally just be flashes. And all you get is flashes.
It's hard to do stuff week in, week out, man. Especially when folks got, like, tape on you. That's the biggest. Like, those great players, man, it's different between good and great players. Like, good players, you able to make an impact. But great players, I would say, is you're able, when the other team, are you a red dot guy? So, you know what a red dot is? When you got your clicker and your laser, they put that red dot on you in those Tuesday, Monday meetings, like after the game. Like, we got to stop this guy. We put that red dot on him. Like, yo, know where he is on the field at all time. If you can produce when they got that red dot on you and they're game planning you, like that's what I feel like makes you a great player. When everyone's job is collectively to stop you and you're still able to make an impact. But going back to Mazi, like, do you feel like this is the preseason, but like, what is this, year 3 for him? Like,
yeah, year 3.
Year 3, like, you just say you don't trust him already, and this is preseason. Like, that's the thing. Like, we're already a month deep in, like a month into camp preseason. Shoot, you got 2 more games, but how much better can you get in those 2 games that you haven't seen already in 2.5 year body of work? Like, do you feel like
that was the thing that had me really curious about what the coaches were saying? Because, like, let's talk about Shotty for a second. Because in his press conference, when he was asked about guys like Will Greer or I think Deuce Vaughn was somebody else he was asked about. But his reasoning for not needing to see a lot from them was, oh, well, I've been here for years. I've seen them before. I know what they bring to the table. No, it wasn't Deuce. It was Malik Davis. He was asked about Will Grier and Malik Davis, and he was like, I've seen them before. I know what they bring to the table. So in my opinion, I'm like, you're the head coach. Does this not apply to Mazi Smith as well? Like, it sounded like he liked what he saw from Malik Davis and he liked what he saw from Will Grier. And I'm like, well, what about the guys who have been here for a while who you don't like what they're seeing? And then something else that I think is playing into this as well is kind of like what you said about red dot guys. When someone is drafted in the first round, they expect you to be a red dot guy. And he's not proving to be that. So can he improve? I don't like saying that a player can't improve, especially with like a new scheme, a new coach. Who knows what he can do? And I would love that for him. I want the Cowboys to succeed. Therefore, I want Mazi Smith to succeed. I would love nothing more than for him to prove me and everybody else wrong, because that means he's doing great things for the team. So I'm like, by all means, go out there and do your shit, young man. But do I expect it? No.
With 2 weeks, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's only so much. You can only get so much better with 2 games left. I'm not saying like he can't have more flash, but if we're having these questions within the preseason, the fact like you're still playing preseason, like this is what they're talking about. Anthony
right,
Richardson.
And it doesn't look like miscommunication. It's literally like we said, him turning, him being too high. So
like this is just techniques and reps.
Yeah, technique.
Like Anthony Richardson. Issues. Like he missed. This man got his pinky dislocated off of an empty day 1 check. And he's like struggling in the preseason. Like, yo, that's really bad. This is like these defenses are vanilla as you like these often they're not trying to specifically scheme you, Mazi. Like, or just anybody in the preseason. So the fact that Anthony Richardson and he was like supposed to be the franchise guy, and the fact that he got lit up and missed that empty day 1 check, like, would that not give you flashes the same way it gives you like red flashes, like the sirens are going off like 911 emergency from Mazi Smith out here not performing up to the first round draft pedigree that you guys expect from?
Right. And also being, outshone by guys who are new to the team. So it is altogether concerning. But like I said, I don't think he's going anywhere. Yeah. So if Eberflus can turn him into what everybody expected him to be when he was drafted, then by all means, I would love to see it. And I would give both Eberflus and Mazi all the praise in the world for getting that done. I'm just saying, as far as what I'm seeing now, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see that much from him. So we do have more games coming up. If he gets more snaps, he can prove everybody wrong and be like, hey, that was a bad game. There is a possibility it could have been a bad game.
Happens.
That is the thing that happens. It happens 100%. But what makes it easy for fans to go hard on a player is when that bad game is representative of a lot of, like, it's a pattern. It's a series of bad games.
But a bad preseason game, I feel like, is even worse. Because these aren't dudes who, like, every time we say this, like, these aren't people you see on Sunday. Like, you shouldn't be struggling. I feel like at least you saw what Pat did, drove him right down the field. When Pat that 1 drive, and then Kyler throwing that trash pick, like that's what we're saying. Like we got question marks. We got like, yo, you guys, it's supposed to look a certain type of way when we got like Joe Burrow and Jamar. See what they did? Put on a show. Got in and got 100%. Out. But that's what you expect. You expect nothing less because we know like how good they are. So of course when you go to against someone's twos, like, you expect it to be a blowout for Joe Burrow and Jamar's favor. So why shouldn't we not expect the same thing from Mazi when he's a first-round guy?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now, since you brought up offenses, though, did you watch any of the Cowboys' offense?
No, I didn't watch the offense, but I haven't seen Jaden Blue in camp.
You said you haven't?
No, I've seen Blue in camp.
Have seen him.
Yeah, I've seen not for the game, but like in camp, yo, Blue show he flashing. I like GP. Yes. I like their connection as a Steelers guy. It pains me, but he'll crash out on your guys' sideline, so I don't care.
I don't know. He might not.
He gonna have them drops. You saw what he did against Cincinnati last year. He just forgets how to catch the ball occasionally.
Reports are saying he's a changed man.
Okay.
I'm gonna give him a chance.
Yeah, you see,
a new environment can make a big difference.
The one guy I really like, man, Trayshawn Holden. He's been every single day. I've seen like him flashing at camp.
What do you like about him?
He's just like someone who's just like. That catch it was like 1 catch in the back of the end zone. He's just gonna find a way to get up. I like his catch radius too. He can get up and like come down with it too. He's a big dude. He has good separation.
I don't even have I heard a new depth chart came out. I don't even have it.
And he keeps on rising. Like I heard Scotty talking about him, like, yo, he's like, yeah, you wouldn't be surprised to see him like every single day. That's the biggest thing, man. Coming in as a new dude, just in like going to college, man, every single day you want to put something good on tape where the coaches go back and like, yo, this dude's doing some stuff. And slowly and surely making your way up the depth chart. That's how you gotta do it. Like if you flash once, like it ain't nothing for you. Everybody gonna have like some good plays. Like if you're on an NFL roster, you have some talent, like you're going to make some plays, but you have to like make it stick and stand out to every single day. Like, wait a minute, he just did it again. Like have the coaches going back as they're like going in for the meetings and they put that red dot on you. Like, wait a minute, he showed me something now, and let's get him more and more reps. And that's like speaking of Shedeur earlier, like it's just baffling to me how those coaches like just haven't have the wherewithal to go ahead and give him some more reps, because you're just curious, like how would Shedeur look with Njoku? How would he look with Judy?
Right. You should be curious. They don't seem to be, but you definitely should.
But is that their decision? Because, I mean, when you have the owner talking about, like, he just volunteers the information as this is not my pick. Do you feel like it's something bigger than the coaches with Shedeur?
It could be.
That's what I feel.
It could be. I'm going to be watching that. And then just going back to what you were saying about Trayshawn Holden, the wide receiver battle for the Cowboys is a tough one because there are so many. Even if they take 6, that means 4 of those guys have to be cut. So we'll stick a pin in that as well, because I want to make sure and get to one more thing before we get out of here, because it's already technically old news, but it's something that I wanted to comment on. And this is one of those things that if I made content every day, I would have already commented on this. But this was something that CeeDee Lamb said about the Micah Parsons situation.
When he tweeted, just pay the man with no extracurricular?
This happened in an interview. Okay. But I'm commenting on not only what he said, but also how he came back at the reporting.
Word.
I feel like he's going to be here. Reaction was crazy, but a little disappointing. But, I mean, it is what it is when you got to get what you got to do. You got to do what you got to do, and you got to do what's the best for him and his family.
Disappointment in him or the process?
Look at you trying to switch things up.
No, I was just asking for clarification. Process.
All right. So he was asked about the Micah Parsons situation, and he said he was disappointed. Reporter said, disappointed in him or the process? CeeDee Lamb said, look at you trying to switch things up. And I must say, first of all, I love it. I feel like CeeDee Lamb's maturity, his growth as a person, the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he talks, the way he presents himself as a leader is one of the most underreported stories of this season so far. It's going to have a big impact on the offense. I already know it. But also what he said about being disappointed in the process kind of made me think about a lot of people who seem to be anti-Micah Parsons and anti-him sitting out of practice. And here's my thing. You were never going to convince me to speak against young, new millionaires in the favor of old billionaires. Like, you're never going to convince me to be anti-player, especially in a situation like this, because a lot of the people who are anti-Micah right now, they're saying that because they're like, oh, he's impacting his team. He should be practicing with them. He should be gelling with them. You know, they got a new defensive coordinator, so on and so forth. And I'm like, yeah, but Micah Parsons tried to go about this the right way.
He did.
It's like the way that these contracts are set up, to go into the last year of your contract and risk getting hurt before you have your extension in place is simply not smart for these players. So he did, based on the CBA, based on his contract, he exercised the options that he had available to him. Right. First, he went to the front office of the Dallas Cowboys to talk to them about an extension multiple times apparently, and it didn't happen. So he tried to go about this in a way that would not impact his team or his teammates. That did not work. So once that did not work and training camp is approaching, and you've seen how many injuries that there are at training camps, at these preseason games, why would he risk that? Why, if you're a fan of Micah Parsons, why would you want him to risk that? And so now that he's tried to talk to them and it didn't work, now he's in a position where it's like, okay, this is the next option that I have available in order to get this to happen. Because yes, the game is important. Yes, the team is important, but so is this man's future. And you cannot convince me that when you have these billionaires who get their billions because of these guys laying their bodies on the line. So it's like you're saying you're okay with these guys making billions and billions for these guys laying their bodies on the line, but you're not okay with these guys getting the extra 10, 20 million that they maybe deserve based on how they performed in the first years of their contract. So yes, he is still technically under contract, but it's kind of like how rules are in sports, where it's like you can't, for example, in roller derby, It's not that you can't elbow somebody. It's that if you do, you go to the penalty box. So same thing here. It's not that he can't renegotiate and ask for an extension. It's just that if he does, there's a process for that. And so since we only have 30 seconds left, I got to leave it there. I just wanted to make sure and get that off my chest so that hopefully we don't have to return to the Micah Parsons situation.
Oh, we're going to return to it.
I'm hoping it's resolved by the time
his back
chair.
tight. hey, you know that's what happens. Your back gets tight when them contract talks get low.
Oh goodness.
Back tightness, it can last for a minute, but hey, once I promise you, once that paper signed, his back gonna feel a whole lot better.
It's all part of the soap opera. Thanks y'all for watching. This has been another episode of Bitch Love Sports. I'm Jazz Monet here with Tell. We're out.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS